For some reason, Facebook keeps fucking with me, but it's all good. Drop some links for y'all.
Black men are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by cops than white men.
They don't want us to succeed.
How much more do we have to take?
Welcome back to the Leon Block. It's a simple block drop tonight or this morning, wherever you at, however you looking at it. As you can see, Party for Socialism and Liberation, which is a national organization and has chapters in every major metro area in the country, is throwing a major protest tomorrow to stop all evictions now. That is tomorrow, Saturday, but it's been going on from 24th and it'll be going on to the 26th. And you can check out canceltherents.com for more information on that. So why should I care about the eviction moratorium? Last September, the CDC declared a ban on evictions. The ban brought relief to millions of tenants during the height of the pandemic, but on August 26th, the Supreme Court cruelly struck down the CDC eviction moratorium. What does this mean for working class people? Well, 5,882,000 households are behind on rent. More than 15 million people are at risk of eviction. A disproportionate number of people of color and children. And the time is now to act. And what can you do to help? You can call your local representative, contact your county board of supervisors representative, U.S. Congress reps, the governor's office, all of which can be found at www.usa.gov/elected-officials. Demand that they immediately take action to support the call to cancel rents and mortgage. Join a demonstration. Like I said, there are tons going on all across the country. There's some going on today. And again, you can find a demonstration near you at canceltherents.org. The demands are simple. For Congress to pass an indefinite moratorium on evictions that covers 100% of the country, that authorizes all levels dramatically speed up the distribution of already allocated renter relief funds. Trust me, I know about the situation because I've been going through it since March. For Congress, state, and local officials to cancel the rents and wipe out all rent and mortgage debt accumulated during the pandemic. Haiti envoy resigns over mass deportations and blasts catastrophic history of U.S. interventions. The U.S. special envoy to Haiti has resigned in protest over the Biden administration's policies. In a letter, the longtime diplomat Daniel Foote wrote, "I will not be associated with the United States' inhumane, counterproductive decision to deport thousands of Haitian refugees." Foote also criticized the Biden administration for meddling in Haiti's political affairs, including its support for Ariel Henry as prime minister following the assassination of the former Haitian president. In July, Foote wrote, "The cycle of international political interventions in Haiti has consistently produced catastrophic results." Foote's resignation came just days after U.S. Border Patrol agents on horseback were filmed chasing, grabbing, and whipping Haitian asylum seekers who had gathered in a makeshift camp in Del Rio, Texas. And on Thursday, the Department of Homeland Security banned the use of horses in the area, but deportations are continuing despite growing criticism from human rights advocates. And the New York Times reports the Biden administration has now deported nearly 2,000 Haitians since last week. About 3,000 Haitians remain in the makeshift camps in Del Rio, while thousands of others have been allowed to stay in the U.S. Immigrant rights activists demand an end to ICE jails on day of nationwide action. Immigrant justice activists held demonstrations across the country yesterday to demand the closure of all immigration and customs enforcement jails, an end to deportations, and the release of all imprisoned asylum seekers and immigrants. The Communities Not Cages Day of Action came as reports show that the number of people detained by ICE has gone up 70% since Biden took office. In Atlanta, activists rallied in front of Stewart County Detention Center. This is LGBT plus activist Lee Ann Sanchez of the group Community Estrella, who was held in 3 different immigration jails, including Irwin County Detention Center, which was forced to shut down due to whistleblower complaints of medical abuses. "I have unpleasant memories of all the unhealthy and inhumane conditions in these places of torture, the medical negligence, and the unsanitary food. But the worst was having to stay in solitary confinement for a whole year in the infamous hole just because I'm trans, because they don't have a dedicated place to hold LGBT people." Guyana's president calls out disproportionate effects of climate crisis on small island nations. He says small island states and continental countries with low-lying coastlines such as Guyana will be the first to feel the full brunt of the impending disaster. Yet our countries are among the lowest emitters of greenhouse gas emissions, contributing the least to the harmful and destructive effects of climate change. This is not only unfair, it is unjust. And DC Police Department officer charged with murder after deadly pursuit. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is moving to appeal his 22.5-year sentence and conviction for murdering George Floyd. In court documents filed Thursday, Chauvin said he intends to appeal on 14 grounds, including the judge's decision not to move the trial out of Hennepin County. Colorism is something that impacts the Black community on an individual basis, but this information shows how it plays out systematically and institutionally. We have to challenge these prejudices against each other in our own communities so we can push the system to do the same. And so I want to talk about that really quick, because Villanova researchers also studied more than 12,000 cases of women imprisoned in North Carolina. Their findings revealed that women with lighter skin received less harsh sentences than darker skinned women. The problem is much deeper than many imagine. African Americans have overall a 36% chance of going to jail at some point in their lifetimes. But dark-skinned African Americans, meanwhile, have a near 66% chance. This isn't the first time that this has come up either, and it doesn't just affect men. Harvard sociology professor Ellis Monk authored a study that shows how it's not just blackness, but skin tone that affects our likelihood of being incarcerated. So just when you thought it was bad, it's actually worse if you have dark skin. What does this mean in practice? A recent study shows something scary. Black people's skin tones have everything to do with how we're treated by the criminal justice system. Though that may not surprise all of us, when you see the numbers broken down, it's pretty disturbing.
Leon.